starting your Sunday morning here with us on Weekends with Whitney. I hope you had a marvelous Christmas and you're still enjoying a long holiday weekend. Well, one of the great holiday traditions around here is the Nutcracker, a tale from the bayou. For more than 20 years, the Baton Rouge Ballet has delighted audiences with its Louisiana fantasy. Meet a local dancer who didn't even start dancing until his 20s, and why for 30 years he hasn't been able to stop. Also on stage, a surprise marriage proposal during the final show of this year's Nutcracker, and we were there to catch the action for you. Find out how this prince pulled it off. Plus, new wealth in the new year. Dr. Nick shows us how it has nothing to do with dollar signs, but will help you become more wealthy than ever before. But first, he dreamed of being a dancer, and now he dances like a dream. Leonard Augustus grew up in a neighborhood and a home where male dancers were unheard of, and if they were ever talked about, they were made fun of. Yet in his 20s, he put on a pair of dancing shoes for the very first time and never looked back. How he shattered the glass ceiling for African-American dancers, and how he's helping the next generation dance, soar, and leap to new heights. The Baton Rouge Ballet's Nutcracker has delighted audiences for more than 20 years. Dancer Leonard Augustus has performed in nearly all of them. One year, he played 4 roles.
I've been Clara's dad, I've been one of the guests, I've been the Arabian, and I've been the Nutcracker. And so that was a lot of quick changes.
He's seen big changes throughout the years, too. Back in the early 90s, the Baton Rouge Ballet teamed up with the New Orleans Dance Company. But Baton Rouge dancers could never audition for any of the main roles. Leonard changed that.
I remember my partner was Dawn, and the coveted role at that time was the Arabian. And no one could get that role. And they would not allow any of Baton Rouge's dancers to have any of the principal roles. So we sort of begged to say, just let us audition. Just let us audition. If you don't want us after audition, we get it. And they let Dawn and I audition. And at the time, the director said, okay. So it was a really big deal back then.
For nearly 20 years after that, Leonard was the Arabian. It's one of the most demanding roles in the Nutcracker. 5 years ago, he passed the torch to a dancer he mentored and helped groom, LaBryan Patrick. LaBryan got something Leonard didn't, a male role model to encourage, enrich, and cultivate his talent.
When I see the young dancers come up, it's hard to describe what it means. And also being in an environment where the arts was not even discussed, and dance was not on the agenda for me or any male in my family. It's huge, what that opportunity provided for me to be able to dance. And
Leonard didn't start dancing until his 20s. It was Baton Rouge Ballet founders Molly Buckman and Sharon Matthews who recognized his raw talent, gave him free dance lessons, then watched him blossom. Leonard found his passion, but did so secretly. He didn't even tell his own mother.
Yes, I was afraid. The story of my mom, I did not invite her to the first ballet I was in because I was embarrassed and didn't know what she might think or didn't know what my family might think. So yeah, there was a little bit of secrecy because of the stereotyping and because of the fear of if I took that kind of risk and failed.
Leonard didn't fail. He flourished.
I took the risk in silence and it was well received. So then I thought that gave me confidence. And so then it didn't matter what people thought because so many people were so kind to me right off the bat and have been kind to me throughout these years. So
Leonard's mom found out about his dancing through the grapevine.
I think people saw me
Oh.
and she found out. And so it was a matter of, do I lie and say, no, that was not me? Or do I just mess up and say, yes, that was me? And I'm not sure if it hurt her feelings or not at the time, but I know that every time since, if it was in her power, she would come and see me.
And yet, as close as they were, Leonard never asked her what she thought of him as a dancer.
Right, I didn't want to even ask her if what she thought because I didn't want to hear anything bad.
Really?
So, not that she was not that kind of person. I don't know why I thought she would say something bad. She
Fear.
wouldn't have. Fear can enslave you, and I'm so glad I lived long enough to know not to let that hold me down. So,
For the Nutcracker, Leonard is now holding the role of Uncle Drosselmeyer, one filled with mystery and magic.
and he's sort of this mysterious uncle who comes around every now and then, and some people are kind of afraid of him, and others just don't know what to make of him. But Clara is his favorite. He creates magic, so he can always make things happen. So he comes in and he always brings a present, a trick, to entertain. And when then he finally expresses to Clara, how happy he is to be with her at this time of year, and he sees that she gets a present that's not so exciting as what all the other house guests get, but he has something up his sleeve. He's already hidden a secret present that's just for her, and that's the Nutcracker. And then as she continues with her experience of this magical night, she falls asleep and she dreams, and the Uncle Drosselmeyer makes everything bigger, and he turns the Nutcracker into a life-size prince, and he makes it snow, and he makes everything grow larger and bigger than life, and he takes her to the land of sweets, where she sees things that she's never seen before, and everything's just magic and wonderful, and it's all for her. And at the end, when she's experienced all that she can handle, he comes back and he puts her to sleep.
In many ways, perhaps, this role was destined for Leonard because it certainly mirrors who Leonard, the person, is, sharing his gifts, making things happen, bringing things to life, and creating magic. The Nutcracker has become such a part of Leonard's Christmas tradition, he can hardly imagine life without it.
It would be different without it. It's just a part of my blood now. I can't imagine it, and but it'll be different. I'll be open to whatever happens in this part of my life. Where if I have to, relinquish this role, then I'm sure I'll just enjoy being a patron and sitting in the audience and watching the show and knowing the hard work that the dancers have put into it and appreciating it.
But this might surprise you. Leonard dances for sheer fulfillment and fun. His real job with the Louisiana Department of Education pays the bills. He doesn't just dance with the Baton Rouge Ballet. He lends his time and talents to countless other organizations and rarely gets or expects a dime. He's taught hundreds to dance through the years, including me in Dancing for Big Buddy back in 2006. He's a tough coach. He's demanding, unrelenting, and expects and accepts only your best.
If you walk away after an experience the same person, what a shame. You should be different. I would like to think every experience I have, every experience I give somebody else, they walk away a different person.
Working with different dance companies used to be taboo in Baton Rouge. It was Leonard who helped change that too. Even though at one time it meant having to choose between his starring role in The Nutcracker or working with inner city kids.
I felt it was not something I could commit to, especially at the time when I was involved with helping some underserved children with a Mid-City Dance Project, which put on sort of an inner city Nutcracker. And so if it came down to me choosing to sort of sacrifice some of the glamour that I was having and some of the attention I was receiving to giving it to an underserved child, I thought it was a no-brainer. So that's what I was able to do, and eventually I was able to do both and even more things. And now,
Bucking tradition wasn't always easy.
when you stand up, you feel a little lonely because you don't know how it's going to turn out. The dancers here, they dance here, they dance out of state, they dance with other companies. They get a rounded experience, and so
How
I feel
healthy.
real fortunate to watch that transition happen.
The transition his own life took after learning to dance is still hard to put into words.
I can't describe it. I never try to name it because I think the moment I try to identify what it is, then it's lost. As long as I just stay open to whatever comes my way and whatever is given as gift, then I can receive it as gift.
Leonard has grown into a gifted dancer, but it only started because others shared their gifts with him. On this Nutcracker stage, everyone shares their gifts with the audience. So many wonderful moments shared, but Leonard does have a favorite.
The end, when all of the magic is over and the lights dim and I go and I take Clara into my arms and I put her down for bed to sleep, and the orchestra, they hit these notes and it's just so dramatic and I see the curtain coming down.
As the final curtain fell on his mother's life, she and Leonard may have given each other one of the greatest gifts of all.
And when she was near death, she told me that she was very proud of me and that she always wanted to be a dancer. And whenever she saw me dance, it was like her dancing.
As Weekends with Whitney continues, a surprise marriage proposal on the stage of the Nutcracker. It happened, but it didn't go exactly as planned. I'll take you there right after this.
On my third Tahoe.
And I'm on my fourth Chevy Silverado pickup.
It's always been Chevy.
Hey, you know I've had 4 Camaros and 5 Corvettes. Got them all from Jerry Lane.
We're proud to be a Jerry Lane family.
All lanes lead to. You can count on Jerry Lane.
This segment brought to you by our friends at Wayne Stabler Companies. Performing on stage in front of thousands of people can be nerve-wracking enough, but popping the question at the same time? It happened. More magic for this year's Nutcracker. Jenny Harriman, you might say, was made for the stage. She began performing in the Nutcracker as a small child. 20 years later, for this singer, dancer, and TV host, this stage feels like home. But attorney Adam Koenig has a much different story. He first stepped on stage just last year at the suggestion of Jenny, his girlfriend. So this is the second year that they've played the roles of maid and butler together. Here's how their scene is supposed to go.
I do sit on the couch, and then he has like hidden some mistletoe in his jacket, and he holds the mistletoe and gets a little kiss on the cheek from the maid, and then they run off the stage together.
But last Sunday night, in this year's final performance, Adam went way off script. And while he looks calm and collected leading up to that mistletoe scene, he was shaking like a leaf inside. He was about to pop the question. His whole world was about to change right in front of an audience of thousands. Instead of sitting on the couch, he got on one knee. Instead of mistletoe, he had a diamond ring.
I was very nervous because, you know, again, I don't have much stage experience, so I'm nervous to begin with on the stage, and then, you know, to do this, the biggest moment of my life. I mean, it just adds on top of it, I know, right?
Wow, that's gutsy. Yeah. Jenny didn't know what was happening at first.
I was thinking, that's not the part. I really thought to myself, wait, what's happening? This is not the part. And I started freaking out a little bit. And then it really didn't even dawn. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't realize what was happening until he was like just staring at me, and he said, will you marry me? I love you. And I was like, oh my God, this is real. You know, it really didn't sink in until after I got off the stage, and I had to take a moment to just like realize what had just happened.
This time, the butler got more than a peck on the cheek on stage and backstage. But it wasn't supposed to happen so fast. Adam was to wait for the symphony to stop playing, then ease slowly into his proposal. Instead, in seconds, it was over. Nerves, of course. It was all still a blur for Jenny, too.
I didn't even look at the ring. I was just looking at his face, and he was just like, this huge smile on his face, and I didn't even look at the ring until like probably 15 minutes later, after like all our friends were just hugging us and crying and everything.
But when she finally did look at the ring, she couldn't take her eyes off it.
So my mother is deceased, and the ring, the stones around the actual ring are from my mom and dad's 25th wedding anniversary. So it has a sentimental value as well as something new. You know? So decided to put them around the ring itself, because to me that means like her arms are wrapped around our relationship. So it's new combined with something sentimental.
This is why I love him so much. He's incredible, Whitney. He's amazing.
This was a special place for Adam to propose, and a special night.
And it's exactly 2.5 years from our first date. Today is, so the 21st. It just, I think everything fell into place.
It also happened to be the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. So for Jenny and Adam, the day really flew by.
No, but it's so amazing. All these people have kind of known me since I was a little girl, and they've seen me grow up, and I've been with the Nutcracker and the Baton Rouge Ballet. It's kind of like my second family, and so for them to be here for this was so special.
Adam kept the surprises coming.
I know it.
Thank you.
Daddy, oh my God.
Congratulations.
Adam set the stage for a beautiful life together. Wishing them both a world of happiness, so good luck, Adam and Jenny. Well, coming up as Weekends with Whitney continues, Dr. Nick shows us new ways to use our resources in the new year for new opportunities.
Give the gift of fine dining this holiday season. Wayne Stabler Companies is offering 1 card for 4. Le Creole, The Little Village, Stab Steak and Seafood. 4 sizzling restaurants, 1 card.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River, here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
At Raising Cane's, we believe in one love. Quality chicken finger meals. But creating one love is no simple task. Everything has to be served hot and fresh. Not just hot. We use only 100% premium chicken tenderloins, guaranteeing a 0% chance of leftovers. We insist on the best ingredients for our fries, like potatoes. Well, we can keep talking quality, or you can just eat it. Raising Cane's, one love.
This segment brought to you by our friends at Jerry Lane. Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. How would you like to be wealthier in the new year? And we're not talking about money. Dr. Nick is here to share his expertise. Good. So how do we build wealth and when we're not talking dollar signs?
Whitney, years ago, I remember from my study of and my experience of 12-step recovery, a great line. It said, you may be powerless over alcohol or whatever it is, but you're not without resources. And that's when I started realizing wealth has to do with connections and resources and ways to handle problems, how to get things done, resolved, how to find answers to questions, because I'm not that smart. If somebody can't help me, well then who can?
Right.
If you can't fix this problem, please send me to your supervisor.
If this doctor
if this doctor is not available, who do you know that's just starting, that's needing to build a clientele? Because I've got somebody that really needs to come in right now.
Mm-hmm. You've done that with some of your clients?
I have done that, but I'm also thinking about when I have needs, I'm always out there looking. And I might say, in addition to that, talking about money, there are people out there that are so honest. Mm-hmm. And they want to work. Mm-hmm. Handymen, handywomen, they want to work. And they're honest and they do a good job. And you know, that's part of resourcefulness, is finding people who are efficient, competent,
yes,
get the job done. You don't have to call them back 4 times.
Oh, right.
Sorry, I'm not trying to cut people.
They come with all the parts and the pieces. You don't have to go back to the store 20 times.
Yes, it's just being resourceful.
Right.
At 60, I realize that is so wealthy. When I think about leaving Baton Rouge, I love Baton Rouge now. I don't know that I could leave because I know so many people.
Right.
I have resources.
Yes.
When I need something, and I don't mean free.
No.
I mean when I need to get something done or I need to reach out, I know where to call.
You have a pool of people.
Don't you?
Yes.
Think about your resources in Baton Rouge. And it's not because we're just extrovert, it's because we understand the giftedness of everyone on this planet.
Because everyone comes with talents and gifts.
And how many people really want to say, no, I don't want to help you?
You're right, not many.
Everybody wants to help, basically.
It feels so good.
It feels so good to say, I can help you. We always say, if you've got knowledge to impart it. The world needs to hear it, and we need to. I like imparting knowledge.
Right.
If I know something, I like to share it. I don't want to own it.
No, it doesn't. It only does you good.
It does.
But you were talking about internal resourcefulness. Why do some people have so much more of it than others?
The $5 million question. I think, just in a nutshell, Whitney, it has to do, in my estimation, with environment. I think many of us grew up with our antennas out there. Okay? We wanted to please. We wanted to get approval. We wanted ultimate guidance. Also out there means we may have had people in our lives, no offense, that didn't tell us to look inside. What do you want to wear today? These are the 3 options. We didn't teach. I didn't get a whole lot of, you've got the power, Nikki.
You didn't.
You've got the power. It was really about follow the rules, do it this way. I'm not knocking my parents or the way it was.
Certainly.
That's the way it was, Whitney. I think you had a lot more internal resources growing up.
Yeah.
I think your mom and dad gave you a lot of freedom to choose and even make mistakes.
Right.
Am I right? That's how you build internal resources. I can do it. I remember a priest saying to me once, I said, why are you so happy? He said, I know how to entertain myself.
Oh.
You hear the resource?
I do.
You, again, that's internal. I can figure this out.
And you just reminded me of something that we can cripple our children when we don't. And sometimes it's easier to say, you're going to wear the red sweater and you're going to go to this school and you're going to take piano lessons and you're going to
eat this, you're going to eat this.
And they have no decisions to make.
They have no decisions. But how about when you put a red, blue, and green and say, honey, pick the one you want. And she says, I want purple, and you say, that's not available. Now you're really teaching resources. Do you hear it?
I do.
Now it's limited. You don't get what you want out of life.
Always.
Always, but you get preference. Parenting. That's empowerment parenting. See, and by the way, I know we need to stop. That's where I think you didn't get enough of. I don't think you sometimes know your limits.
Oh.
And I've said that to you, and I love you to death.
I don't.
I think sometimes you feel like you can do it all, and I'm like, Whitney, you've got to slow down a little.
I know. I will burn the candle at both ends.
Is that okay to say?
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's being vulnerable, but I think it's true.
I'll share. I mean, I met many a night before deadline. I mean, I don't sleep. It's like
and the whole idea was to get rest.
Yes, and on the nights before I don't. I know, and you're right, but I do think I can do it.
It's okay. It's okay, baby. You're going to be fine. Happy New Year, everybody.
How it swings. Maybe too far. Get the pendulum back.
Get the pendulum back.
That's my New Year's resolution. You have one?
No. Well, Kim is telling us we're limited, so I guess I better come back with mine.
Yes, unfortunately, we do have a limit on time. We're limited in that respect.
But we'll talk after the camera.
Okay, and we'll talk next week. How's that?
That sounds good.
All right. Much more Weekends with Whitney right after this.
How do you improve on a world-class automobile? You attach it to one of the best names in the business, Jerry Lane Cadillac. Once again, Jerry Lane leads the rest in selling the best. The completely redesigned 2014 Cadillac CTS is bringing the future forward with features like the innovative Q driver interface. Q blends first-of-its-kind technology with highly intelligent design, bringing the intuitive control of smartphones and tablets safely to the road. Visit our Jerry Lane Cadillac showroom just off I-10 and Segan on Riga Road.
Atlas Foundation Repair, fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees.
Give the gift of fine dining this holiday season. Wayne Stabler Companies is offering 1 card for 4. Le Creole, The Little Village, Stab's Steak and Seafood. 4 sizzling restaurants, 1 card.
Thanks again for starting your Sunday morning here with me on Weekends with Whitney. Remember, we always have more on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can always head to my website, weekendswithwhitney.net. The next Sunday we'll be together. It'll be the year 2015. Hard to believe, so I wish you peace, joy, and more of everything that gives you true fulfillment and purpose in your life. So as we wrap up 2014, we do so a little differently this morning. Dr. Nick shares with us What Will Matter by Michael Josephson.
Ready or not, one day it will come to an end. There will be no more sunrises, no more minutes or hours or even days. All the things you collected, whether treasured or forgotten, will pass to someone else. Your wealth, your fame, your temporal power will shrivel to irrelevance. It won't matter what you owned. It won't matter what you owed. Grudges, resentments, frustrations, jealousies will finally come to an end. But so too will hopes, ambitions, plans, to-do lists. You won't have them anymore. The wins and losses that seemed so important will fade into nothing. It won't matter where you came from, what side of the tracks you were born on or lived. It won't matter if you were beautiful, brilliant, gender, skin color, religion. It will be irrelevant. So what will matter? And how will the values of our days on this earth be measured? What will matter, my friends, is not what you bought, but what you built. What will matter will not be what you got, but what you gave. What will matter will not be your success, but your significance. What will matter will not be just what you learned, but what you shared and taught with the next generation. What will matter is every act of integrity, compassion, courage, sacrifice that enriched or empowered or encouraged other people to emulate that example. What will matter is not competence, but your character. What will matter is not how many people you knew, but how many people you touched and will remember you when you're gone. What will matter is not your memories, but the memories in those who loved you and whose lives you touched. What will matter is how long you will be remembered, by whom and for what. And you know, living this life that matters, believe it or not, is not by accident. It is not a matter of circumstance or birthright or where you grew up. It is a matter of choice. Make that choice today and in every day that you have to live until your day's end.